Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran wa Durrar, the Jews, the Quran and spares. This is inshallah the very last session about Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider. We have discussed in the very last session the notion of hijrah. If you cannot fulfill your religious obligations, you cannot take care of your needs, then you are permitted to travel in the land. Just go somewhere where you can take care of the needs of your family, but your religious obligations as well. But it could be the case that when we talk about Islamic societies, they things could be better. Let's put it this way. And we exempted places like Palestine. Yes, people can go and make a living, but I think it's very important simply to stay put and just make a living where you are. There are opportunities. It's tough. This is even in a place where, relatively speaking, is much better than the Gaza Strip or the West Bank at this stage. One might witness things that are definitely basically things are overwhelming. Our hearts bleed really, but immigration in the sense of leaving for good should not be an option. There was a poll. Many Palestinian youngsters would like to leave and leave for good. Things are tough, and it's the role of those of us who, whether we talk about adults or we talk about politicians, talk about religious leaders, community leaders, we should really help at least uplift the spirit. And the very, very last verse that we dealt with was the following: أعوذ بالله السميع من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت ثم إلينا ترجعون. Every soul will taste death, then to us you will all be returned. We said this life is finite, and that no matter how long you live, if you divide it by infinity, it's zero mathematically. Yes, you have existed. The moment you are born, you are consuming your most precious thing. From that moment, it's time. People celebrate birthdays, but every birthday celebration is really a celebration that say it's basically it's the passing of a year and brings you closer to death. People don't realize this until they start seeing the obituaries in the local newspaper. Their classmates, their neighbors, here they announce from the loudspeaker of the mosque who passed away. There is a constant reminder if you go to the mosque, usually, and not necessarily only, but usually they bring funerals and people pray for them the funeral prayer after the noon prayer. So there is a constant reminder. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that mentioned the أكثر من ذكر هادم اللذات. هادم اللذات, it's basically death. Mention that which destroys, wins over pleasures. These are not haram, but ultimately you keep things in a check. Uh, you sow the seed here, you reap there. Sowing the seed here meaning doing good things. You believe, but you need also to act. If you do things right, then the next verse will talks about reward, divine reward in the hereafter. والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لنبوأنهم من الجنة غرفا تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها نعم أجر العاملين. As for those who believe and do good, will certainly house them uh, in mansions in paradise. And people should not understand ghuraf as rooms, especially when you talk about this is paradise, uh, where things were that no eye has seen, uh, and the nothing that crossed the hearts of people, nothing that could have crossed your mind. Definitely, everything is much better than you expect, inshallah. We simply ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and to grant us paradise. Now, these mansions under which rivers flow to stay there forever. So you taste death because really this is not eternal here, it's finite. Uh, we are mortals. Yes, one might say, well, this is a well known fact. People dismiss it. People dismiss it. I sometimes hear people when there's a funeral in the mosque, they ask how old was he, for example, when he passed away. They will talk about the funeral as if this will comfort them to know that he was like 100 years old or 90 years old or 80 years old. It depends how old you are, as if you give yourself the as if death is not imminent, as if you give yourself the extra time that you are going to live the same. That's not how things work. It's not up to you. So those who believe, those who did good deeds, but also those who patiently endure and put their trust in their Lord. الذين صبروا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. Patience is in every aspect of our life. Imam Ghazali in Kitab al-Sabr wa-Shukr explained this. You have patience for the things that you like, you have patience for the things that you don't like. Patience for the things that you like, say for example having money. What's the role of patience here? Is when you have, for example, you have one way or the other you had accumulated wealth. You don't use it to commit that which is haram. Don't use it to buy things that you think they are halal and you waste plenty of money. Some of the paintings that people buy few $100 million. How many universities can you build with these few $100 million? How many clinics, research centers, infrastructure? How many water wells, fresh water, sanitation, and not only in your country. If you basically have everything in your country now, well, think about your brothers and sisters, literally across the border. So patience. And patience for things that you don't like. It could be sickness, it could be poverty, it could be. But always take, in both cases, by the way, you need to take action, you need to seek medication. And in the case of poverty, you need to work, to exert effort, take action. It's still in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sustenance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Health is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the healer. But you need to seek medical treatment. وكأين من دابة لا تحمل رزقها الله يرزقها وإياكم وهو السميع العليم ولئن سألتهم من خلق السماوات والأرض وسخر الشمس والقمر يقولون الله فأنى يؤفكون. How many are the creatures that cannot secure their provisions? It is Allah who provides for them, and you as well. He is indeed the all-hearing, all-knowing. We mentioned the example of the birds that begin the day hungry, and by the end of the day they are full. They don't store food there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for them. And in verse 61, there's something remarkable. It says here that if you ask them, if the Prophet ﷺ asked the pagans surrounding him, who created the heavens, the earth, and subjected the sun and the moon for your benefit, they will certainly say Allah. How can they then be deluded from the truth? So they associate, deities of their own creation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created the universe, who created the heavens, the earth, who availed to them, who subjected to them to benefit from the sun and the moon. They would say Allah. Those pagan Arabs were much better than contemporary atheists. Still there is shirk, but they are much better than those atheists because they still recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have a problem with the association, but they recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The contemporary atheists, they don't, of course. There are some of them, many of them are scientists, could be physicists, they could be biologists, and it's really pathetic that they believe that the whole universe, everything came into existence on its own, and this is impossible. How could it be? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء من عباده ويقدر له إن الله بكل شيء عليم. Allah gives abundant or limited provisions to whoever He wills of His servants. Surely Allah has full knowledge of everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives different provisions, different wealth, different. It's in every respect in our life. I remember Imam Sha'rawi, rahimahullah, he said that if all people were physicians, life on earth would collapse. We need the plumber, we need the physician, we need the mathematician, we need the biologist, we need the carpenter, we need different provisions, different roles, different vocations. All are part of this rizq. ولئن سألتهم من نزل من السماء ماء فأحيا به الأرض من بعد موتها ليقولون الله قل الحمد لله بل أكثرهم لا يعقلون. They also recognize, they believe that if you ask them who sends rain from the sky, giving life to earth after its death, after drought, after summer season, after depends where on earth, they will surely say Allah. Say praise be to Allah. In fact, most of them do not understand. وما هذه الحياة الدنيا إلا لهو ولعب وإن الدار الآخرة هي الحيوان لو كانوا يعلمون. This worldly life is no more than play and amusement, distraction. But the hereafter is indeed the real life. If only they knew. Some sports, that's fine, that's lovely. some entertainment, that's wonderful. Um, the Prophet ﷺ competed with Lady Aisha radiallahu anha twice running. The first time she won, the second time he won because she gained weight. So just yes, you can have some fun, but remember that this life, if there's no, uh, if religion is not the the center, is not the focal point, it we cannot basically spend this life playing, being entertained. Uh, and unfortunately, we know very well now the statistics. Statistically, people spend about 7 hours every day on their phones, scrolling really. Don't waste your life. Real life is in the hereafter, not here. لا هي الحيوان, it's the real life. فإذا ركبوا في الفلك دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين فلما نجاهم البر إذا هم يشركون ليكفروا بما آتيناهم وليتمتعوا سوف يعلمون. If they happen to be aboard the ship, a ship where basically they are caught in a storm, if they are aboard the ship, they cry out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cry out to Allah alone, مخلصين له الدين, in sincere devotion, but as soon as He delivers them to safety, to shore, they associate others with Him once again. So let them be ungrateful for all we have given them, and let them enjoy themselves for now, for they will soon know. Um, oh, how intense the dua would be when there is tribulation. People will basically make dhikr. Even I've seen non-Muslims, because they, yes, we have differences, serious differences in terms of faith, but they also pray. Talk about. I've seen it myself more than once. Across the aisle, there was a family, and there was simply, it was a very rough, flight from Johannesburg to Durban in South Africa, and the hostesses, they were asked to simply be seated throughout they could not serve basically those on flying with them, the customers, if you will. And you know that things are tough when the hostesses are not allowed to move around the airplane. And a kid right next to me told his father or her father on the other side of the aisle, "Daddy, Daddy, Mommy is praying." Of course, she would pray. Very intense, very intense. Their devotion, their prayer. The issue is once they are saved, they might go back to entertainment and forgetting about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them. Also, it means that it's not mechanical, it's not cause and effect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is omniscient, omnipotent, and can interfere in this universe, saving people. أولم يروا أنا جعلنا حرما آمنا ويتخطف الناس من حولهم أفبالباطل يؤمنون وبنعمة الله يكفرون. Have they not seen how we have made Mecca a safe place? Mecca, of course, it's Mecca. حرما آمنا, that's a haram in the original sense. Whereas people all around them are snatched away. How can they then believe in falsehood and deny Allah's favors? being snatched. Mecca, the Haram itself is a sanctuary. Mecca is a sanctuary. It's a Haram. There's certain things that are prohibited there. They could be allowed somewhere else. Certain things for the people of Mecca, certain things for the pilgrims. And fighting was not allowed there. And whoever entered Mecca, especially in the vicinity of the Kaaba, was safe. Except that the Sulh al-Hudaybiyah was breached by really attacking and killing a tribe of Muslims. And when people were reminded that it's a haram and they should not be killing people there, they were told, you steal in the haram, meaning that you steal, why don't you also kill? He said on that day, and that's very bad, really. It happened a few times in the history, even Islam, Islamic history. Mecca was attacked, Medina was attacked. The sanctity of the human being, life of the believer, is more valued than the status of the life of the believer is higher than the status of the Kaaba itself. ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بالحق لما جاءه أليس في جهنم مثوى للكافرين وإذ جاهدوا فينا هدينا سبلنا وإن الله لمع المحسنين. And who does more wrong than those who fabricate lies against Allah or reject the truth after it has reached them? Is hell not a fitting home for disbelievers? وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا هَدِينَا سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And as for those who struggle in our cause, we will surely guide them along our way. And Allah is certainly with the good doers. Those who lie against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who fabricate things. The internet is loaded with lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, loaded with lies against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, loaded with lies against Islam, loaded with lies against Muslims. What do Islamophobes do? They keep fabricating things. That's quite unfortunate. Inshallah, we'll continue struggling and doing good and explaining the Islamic worldview faithfully as much, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables us. The notion of the importance of the truth, regardless of the circumstances. We need that, especially when alternative narratives are always out there. Fake news about Muslims and also others. Inshallah, this is the end of our dealing with Surah Al-Ankabut. We have just concluded that, and in the next session, inshallah, it will be Surah Al-Rum. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.